Rose Coat Magazine. Welcome to Tyler Bryant. How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. How about you?
I am pretty good for the end of the world.
Yeah, I know
uh,
we're still 6 feet on the right side, huh?
yeah, man. 6 months after the curve is going to flatten any day now. And obviously, before I'm super stoked to talk to you. Brand new album. Pressure. Super excited to talk to you, but I want to make sure I try to start these interviews with a little humanity and a personal check-in. I hope you're well. I hope the band's well. I hope all your families and friends have been safe from either virus or any other kind of harm during 2020.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I think all things said, we're doing pretty good. So it's definitely a wild time. How have you been? Are you doing good? Because I mean, I guess
I'm
being
good.
in Brooklyn, you guys had it tough for a second.
We had it very bad for a second. I was actually very sick to start the year. Just on a personal note, I don't know if I had it. I have yet to get the antibody test. But I was really sick with like a pneumonia I could not shake. But
Yeah,
interestingly, for like 2 rounds of antibiotics, barely beat it back. And then I
yeah,
started to kind of feel like myself. And just as I started to start going to shows, and I photograph shows, and I interview bands at shows, everything went down, everything shut
yeah,
down. So like, this is the new normal, whatever
yeah,
that is. I'm making the best of it. My team around the world has been fairly intact and well, thankfully. So I'm glad.
yeah.
And we're doing the best we can.
Cool.
And lucky music has really helped me. I'm sure it's helped you, not just
Oh,
making it, but having it, right?
yeah, I mean, without music, I don't, I think my mental health would be like just down the road somewhere without music right now. Because it's something it's given me somewhere to put all my energy that normally I can spend at a show.
Right,
So
and you were like a road dog. You and the band, the Shakedown, you guys performed. You had obviously lost a ton of touring, humongous tours, the biggest
yeah,
tour in the last 5 years of any band. No disrespect to anyone else. You have been on humongous planned tours and lost a lot of tour dates and possibly a lot of income. So I'm super sorry for all you, your crew. Yeah, I
yeah,
think about your crew people, your tour bus drivers, your merch slingers, your tour managers, everybody, not just the band. This is a
yeah,
huge ecosystem. We're all suffering.
totally, man. Well, yeah, that's the thing is like a lot of the a lot of artists, like we took a huge financial hit. This was going to be one of our best years, on a monetary level, and then you go, okay, cool, like that's gone. We never really did it for that anyway. So, but then you think about like a lot of artists still get songwriting royalties and that kind of stuff, even if they're sparse. But the guitar techs, the roadies, the drivers, these people are really, really feeling it. I mean, everybody's feeling it. Whatever if you're not working, you're feeling it. But we just do the best we can and try to look out for one another.
I love it. Yeah, I end a lot of my things. We do a weekly news show on YouTube, and my ending is take care of yourselves and take care of each other, right? Because
Yeah,
that's the basic human thing. Doesn't matter who you wanna be mad at, or what side you wanna be on, or whatever. We're in a very messed up time. Take care of yourself, self
totally.
care, and take care of each other because it's really all we have.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, speaking of on the road, I got like reminded of a social media memory. As bad as social media can be, sometimes it's fun. It was like 1 year ago, you were at Coney Island watching these bands, and you were the opener.
Oh
So
yeah,
on that big tour with STP, and
rival son.
fantastic. Yeah, Rival Sons and STP, fantastic show, and amazing tour. Every band was on point. The venue I love. It's the Ford Theater at Coney Island. I hope we get shows like that back. That's a
Yeah, we
one,
had corn
I
dogs
like.
there.
Yeah, I know, right? It was Coney Island. I hope you got to. I don't. I know touring is busy. I hope you checked out the boardwalk a little bit, enjoyed
Oh
Brooklyn
yeah.
a little bit.
Dude, there's actually in the first single that we released off our new album, I because I never knew about the Wonder Wheel, and I thought that it was so cool. So I threw the Wonder Wheel in Crazy Days. It says I want to drink till I start to spin like the Wonder Wheel on a weekend.
That is nuts. That's awesome. I don't know how
Yeah.
I missed that. I listened to the record like 3 times before this call, so I got to go back and hear it. But yeah, fantastic, man. I'm glad you guys are great live, and that's kind of where I wanted to start talking about Pressure, which is that it's such a live feeling record, and live is what you do. Like obviously, anybody can do anything in the studio, but live is where you really prove your value, right, to
Totally.
listeners.
Yeah, man. There's a thing that happens with our band, and I've stopped taking offense to people being like, "You're just better live," because there's like this thing when the energy is exchanged with fans, with people who are like, "We're here to party, we're here to rock, give it to us loud and give it to us now." Like that sort of excitement just snowballs, and I you know I think one of these days we ought to just like invite a ton of people to come sit in the studio with us. That way we can have that.
That's awesome. Yeah, when it's safe to do
Yeah,
it.
when it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love when I played in bands. I love having friends come in and just hang, because like
Yeah,
then you could know if something was gonna work later musically,
yeah, yeah,
because
man.
you
But that's the thing that I feel like with this new album, Pressure, we um we did it very much. We tracked it very much live. Like Caleb and I would play everything down together, and a lot of the takes are just like live takes. So it's not like we weren't going in and editing between takes, and we just kind of said, let's let it be us, like flaws and all, and not try to present this like unrealistic version of ourselves. Like we just capture a moment was sort of the goal.
now if you know you're gonna go in and record in that fashion, does that affect things like how much pre-pro you do, how you mic the room, or you just like we're gonna go for it, whatever happens?
Yeah, well, I mean, so there are a few songs on the album. Like there's I think it's the second song, it's second or third, Hitchhiker. For example, that song we wrote in the studio, and Caleb and I, like, I'm sitting in a different room, he's sitting in a different room, we can't see each other, and we played it twice, and that was it. So it's a lot of it is just the chemistry that has been built up from years and years of being on the road, and at that point you're leaning into your instincts, which is a thing that whenever we play a song, normally it's the first or second time that has the most dangerous type of live feel to it. And then the more we do it, we start to the Nashville musician guy starts to kick in, and you're like, dude, you're not invited to this party. So it's kind of like, I mean, in that song Coastin', the very last song on the record, I'd written that song, and Caleb was getting ready to leave, and I said, "Hey, can you just try playing this thing with me once?" And we played it twice, and we kept the first take, and that was the first time he'd ever heard it. So it's very much like an instinctual improv type of thing.
Well, like I said, it makes a lot of sense to my ears. That's how it sounds to me, and I dig it.
Cool.
It definitely has that vibe. And then I was gonna say, just obviously the band is hot vocally. This is some of my favorite stuff you've ever done. Coastin's a good
Cool.
example. Wild Side, Fuel, Holding My
Cool.
Breath, Crazy Days. Really great vocals. Really great phrasing, which you don't get a lot of rock phrasing in songs anymore. Like how to finish a line and how to like add emotion to a lyric with your voice, not just the words.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, man. You're growing a lot over the years, and I've
Thank you,
really appreciated this progression.
man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you following along through the years, and yeah, that means a lot, because I think there was a lot of focus in the intention behind the lyrics. Especially with a song like Holding My Breath. Because like right now people are leaning into music, and so with a song like that song was written before the pandemic, it was written before a lot of the madness that we're kind of staring down right now, and the lyrics took on a different shape. So it's like we have to try and get that emotion through in the phrasing of the vocal and in the guitar, and I think everything was just very intentional.
I dig it. I dig it. And then yeah, lyrically, just starting to get a little philosophical and wise. Not such a like obviously there's a whole range of emotions on here, but like there's definitely I think very selfishly like the old Me and Misery are tracks that also draw me in and I gravitate to, and like a lot of a little more life experience in those words. They're hard hitting.
Yeah, thank you, man. Those were really fun ones to record. Like the Old Me was one that I was pretty uncomfortable recording. It was the last song that we recorded for the album, and we asked our good friend, who's basically been like a band member to us from day one, Roger Allen Nichols, to co-produce the album. And I had played Like the Old Me for him when I wrote the song, and he said, "Oh, we should do that on the record." And I was kind of going, I don't know if it fits. This is a pretty heavy duty album. And normally the songs that we do that are sort of the outliers, they basically serve as a breath in the album when it's just a hard hitting, rock fest. Those end up being, I feel like, fan favorites. And everyone I've talked to doing press so far has always brought up like the old me. And I was really nervous to record it because Roger said, sit down in this chair, sing the song into the microphone a couple times, and then we're done. And you're done with the album. And so it was like, I think feeling that pressure of, I have a couple of takes to do it, and it's not going to be fixed. So you can hear the shakiness in the voice, which kind of, it just goes with the lyrics of the song. That's a song about someone who's feeling insecure, and I've been feeling so much throughout this process, So yeah, I'm proud of it.
Well, you got the rest of the world fooled, man. I would think you'd have the world on a string, like everything seems to be pointing up, but also the journey of the artist is always questioning, right? You don't know, what am
Yeah,
I doing next? Am I doing it right?
yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of times too, it's like you could be, we could be on the biggest tour in the world, and it's still, I'm judging myself on the last song that I wrote. It's always just trying to keep it moving and trying to stay inspired and keep making things. And that's what was so fun about this record is we didn't feel like we have to make, a record that's gonna have massive radio success. We basically we had a team of people that we all loved and trust each other. So it's like, let's make something that we can all listen to together. That way, when we're hanging out later, we're gonna want to put this song on.
I dig it. Just another thought about those two tracks, and obviously aside from your personal feelings, selfishly, I would love to see like a Led Zeppelin 3, Johnny Cash, Ty Bryant whole album of like the old me, because it's just a song. I think I'm a little older dude, so it kind of hit me, and I also relate to those things. And or also like I don't know if you're a big fan of like Americana or like some of the
Yeah.
dark folk artists like the White Buffalo or Amigo the Devil,
Oh yeah, I
little
love
little
White Buffalo.
so that's what
Cold
that's
Wall, I love a lot of those guys.
right, that's what that song, or Shooter, that's what that song reminded me of. So like I was like, oh man, you could do that, you could do a whole album of them, and I think
Yeah,
people would dig it.
absolutely. It's a plan of mine. I want to call the record For All the Hearts That Sleepwalk. Because I'm like a chronic sleepwalker. Like I wake up and I'm just in random places, and a lot of times that's whenever I'm worried about something, or there's something on my mind, and a lot of times those songs just kind of fall out, and every now and then one will make its way onto a Shakedown record, but I have hundreds of them. They're just kind of sitting around. So I'm actually playing at the Bluebird here in Nashville, Tennessee tonight, which I'm really excited about, getting to go to a venue and play. And that's a songwriting room. So I'm going to take some of these songs that I've just been sitting on, and try them out in that sacred place and see what happens.
That's killer, man. That's so exciting that you get to go do something like that. I was gonna say also about your sleepwalking and songs just falling out, which I love. It really reminds me of the famous story from Paul McCartney, who talked about how he wrote yesterday. He dreamed the song. He
Right.
woke up from a dream and was like, had the melody in his head, and asked everybody he knew, did we write this? Did I write this? And he played it and he wrote it, and he was like, I must have wrote it in my sleep because I don't know where this came from. And it kind of sounds like that's where you're, same kind of inspiration.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's like the most covered song of all time, Yesterday, right?
I know. Wow.
He dreamed it. But yeah, good for hopefully you don't get hurt sleepwalking, but also I get
Yeah,
what you mean. I get what you mean. Of course, like, when things just kind of randomly come to you.
totally.
Nice. I see a bunch of gear over your shoulder there. Do you have like like a favorite go-to piece of gear you need to have when you go in to record?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Hold on. Let me grab
All
it.
right.
It's I mean, most people are gonna expect this, but it's my main guitar. It's been around the world with me a bunch of times, and this is actually kind of an interesting story. So this guitar was based off of this guitar, which got stolen and was missing for 5.5 years. And um, it was found in Spokane Valley, Washington, at a guitar shop. And but like in the meantime, my dad took out a loan to get me this one, and so it's got some even more sentimental value to it, because when I put this pick guard on, I found that my mom and dad and sister had carved their names on the inside of it. And but yeah, just a lot of memories, and it just kind of feels like home when I'm playing it. It's like I can play pretty much any guitar just fine, but when I put this one on, it's like it doesn't feel like I'm playing a guitar. It just feels like I'm just existing.
Right on. Can't go wrong with a Strat anyway, just in general,
Yeah,
historically.
totally, totally.
Tone and flexibility and all kinds of stuff. That's a beautiful story. And obviously you hear countless stories about people. You may know some of them whose families were like, "Don't be a musician. You're going to be broke and suffer." But it's awesome to hear that your family really, put their lives on the line and backed you like that. That's wonderful, man.
Yeah, man, my because I moved out on my own when I was 17. I was like, guys, I got to be done with high school now. I got to move to Nashville, and because I'm from a really small town in Texas, so nobody played music. And so I pieced out and I got an apartment in Nashville, and I didn't know anybody. And I told my dad, I said, I won't ask you for money. I'm gonna do this. I gotta figure it out. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, just go be the best you can be. Don't ask me for money.
Right, you put it out there. Now you have to live it. That's amazing. Wow. Were you always? We've never chatted before, and I know a little bit about your history. Were you always like a musical little kid, or did it come later?
Yeah, I think around like first grade, I guess I would have been 7 years old. I saw a video of Elvis and I became instantly obsessed. I think I was more obsessed with the way that people were reacting watching Elvis, because I've always been a total attention whore. So I thought, I can do that. I got a guitar, started carrying it around. I didn't care about playing it. I would like tie it up to a tree and shoot it with my BB gun, which is shows like how much respect I had for the instrument. And then one day I was 11 years old, and I met this man in a music store named Roosevelt Twitty. Actually, I got his name tattooed right here on my arm. He's very, very important to my life. And he asked me, he said, do you like the blues? And I said, I don't know what's the blues. And he said, well, what I'm playing is the blues. And I was like, I love the blues. And so he started inviting me over to his house to come and just play guitar with him. And I couldn't play at all, but he would basically say, just go up here and play some notes and don't be afraid to mess up. And kind of allowed me space to figure out what I wanted to say and would give me pointers. And we just became best friends and started a band called the Blues Buddies. And it was like you had this old guy and this young little kid, and we were just running around playing blues for people. And then I started getting into rock and roll, and then it was like, I'm done with high school. I'm going to start a rock band. And here I am, a grown man, still just playing in a rock band. I love it.
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. I love it.
Totally.
The Blues Buddies. That's great. That's a record I want to hear or hear of. But yeah, man. It's interesting. I interview a lot of bands, obviously, a lot of artists all over the world, and I always fascinated about like that first person that encourages you, because also a lot of people get that first person to discourage you, and
Yeah,
so it's great. You have to override not just that own. You talked about insecurity. You have to override that your self doubt as well as anyone else, right? So
totally.
it's awesome that you had somebody inspiring to you young.
Yeah, man. I think it's so, I just think back to how my life changed, because he was just like, here's listen to this record, listen to this. And I actually just, he passed away some years back, and um left me his guitar that he pretty much taught me to play on, and I just brought it back from Texas, and I have it here, and I've been, every now and then I'll pick it up and play Hideaway by Freddie King on it or something like that. And yeah, I was very fortunate to have crossed paths with him. And I still think about often, it's just good to be open. Like whenever somebody comes into your life, it's like almost like a sign, and you got to go, oh, I'm supposed to go this way. And I'm just glad that I realized that he was someone that I was supposed to know, and that he realized that I was someone he was supposed to know, because we became best friends. and it's all because of music. So that's part of the reason I had his name tattooed on my arm, is to remember, like, oh, this is a lot more than just people playing music together. It was like, I watched our relationship kill racism in the town I was from, because you have this old black guy running around with this young white kid, and it's like I was from a small town in Texas, and then all of a sudden people really wanted to come and see it when they might have had a different idea, because they were like, oh, this is cool. And yeah, man, it's just there's a lot baked into it that is a lot more than just playing some notes on a guitar.
Indeed, indeed. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm glad he came into your life. And what a story. That's like, we need more of those stories right
Yeah.
now, especially in the world, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's what you're talking about, just about being good to people. He never asked for $1 to teach me guitar or any of that stuff. And yeah, so it's just cool. Sometimes sharing a record with somebody could just put them on a course.
Indeed, indeed. Who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite blues artist ever or favorite record?
Yeah. Oh man, I have a couple. Muddy Waters is one of my favorites. I'm a huge Lightning Hopkins fan. Um, when I was a kid, it was Johnny Winter. And my favorite blues album as a kid it's actually kind of a hard one to find. It's called Alan Haynes Live at the Big Easy. It's a Houston nightclub, and I learned the record note for note. And I saw him play at the Dallas Guitar Show one year, but I didn't know he never said his name, so I didn't know who he was. But I knew that he said he played in Austin a lot. And I convinced my father to drive me down to 6th Street. So we drove from Honey Grove, Texas to Austin, which is 6.5, 7 hours, to drive down 6th Street on a Saturday night with the windows down to listen to see if we could hear this guy. And I heard him. I was like, that's him. That's him. That's him. Jumped out of the truck, went up, obviously couldn't get in, but it was an open bar there on 6th Street where it was, open to the street. And he saw me watching, and he came out with his guitar and played for me on the side of the street. And I, being a hot-headed little, ham of a kid, I was like, can I play your guitar? Can you give me your guitar to play? And he said, no, but come to this Alligator Grill tomorrow night and you can play with me. And so I went, and I had my guitar, and he let me get up and jam with him. And, at the time, I'm still a little kid. I'm probably 13, 14. And he made the mistake of giving me his phone number. And I used to just call and leave him voicemails of me playing his record note for note.
That is
So
nuts.
my dad got so mad at me one time because I played it over and over and over. And I think one day he reached saturation when we were driving. He's like, turn it off. You got to turn it off. Just too much.
That's awesome. Did you have to drive to Austin and back again the next night in the
No,
same day?
no.
Oh, you
We
stayed
got
over?
still there, yeah.
Oh, phew, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah. Your dad is a trooper, but he sounds like a trooper anyway. I'm glad you, again, sounds awesome that you have a very supportive, family and background. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man, pressure. This is the big time. This is a big record for this fall, in my opinion. Snake Farm Records is the label. Just man, all the success to you. Proud of you, and I'm hope we get everything back, and you can get back to doing what you do and what you love, and play shows, and you and your whole crew get to do what you're supposed to do, which is get up there and do this in front of people. Not in,
Yeah, man.
this is awesome. This is a miracle that we get to talk and I get to chat with you in your place, and you
Yeah,
and
I know.
Matt.
I
But
mean,
like, you know,
science.
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool
Yeah.
how it works. It good, data flies through the air or through wires and stuff. It's cool. But also I miss shows. I know you miss shows. You live in Music City, you gotta, there's live music every night out there, or supposed to be. So I hope we get it back, and we get it back soon, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm just excited to play for people again. I feel very lucky to have the outlet of like being able to record at home and make a record and put it out and stay, in touch with our audience. But there's a closeness that happens at a live show that I can't wait to feel again.
Awesome, man. Love hearing it. Thanks again for sharing your story. Appreciate you hanging out with me and our Ghost Cult viewers. And take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.
And
Thanks.
yeah, dude, good to see you, brother.